Here's 8 questions you should never ask on the first date. And watch till the end because the last one you really don't want to ask on the first date. And before we get into them, it's not a problem to ask these questions at all. They're just not appropriate in the very beginning, the first time you're out meeting somebody, just to see if there's even a romantic connection and real thing that could be there, right? Foundational pieces. It should be lighthearted, fun, and exploratory, but not too serious. The first question you never ask is financial questions, right? Or questions about someone's debt. Where, yes, it's important to know these things about someone so that you don't get into a relationship with someone that has a situation that might start bringing you down. But when you ask this on the first date, when they're just trying to get to know you, it comes off more opportunistic instead of how you're probably intending it, which is you're probably trying to be diligent and intentional, but it's coming off like you're just trying to get something from them or see what they could do for you. At best, you can ask them, why are you single? But that's it. Third, questions about their personal health. Yes, it's important to know someone's kind of health history because if you're going to have kids with them and all that stuff, it has implications. But this is not what's appropriate for the first date, right? It's a very intrusive thing to ask this early on if that person's not comfortable enough with you yet to ask those things, right? And you wouldn't know that because you don't know them well enough yet. I mean, where's the romance in asking someone a question about have they ever, had a serious illness or just cancer running their family, right? That's a Debbie Downer. That'll kill the romance in a moment. Fourth, controversial things like what their thoughts are on the current war going on and things like that. Questions that start to get into really serious or emotional or heartfelt belief systems for people starts to take conversations left, especially in a romantic setting where it's supposed to be about you guys connecting and having chemistry, and you're getting to topics that you don't know enough about that person yet to navigate that with them without maybe making the wrong assumptions about different things that come about of that conversation, and it might ruin something that could be great. Fifth, personal trauma or family issues. The last thing you want to do is start prying into someone's personal business before you know them that well about if they've ever had any, traumatic events as a child that might be affecting their mental health right now, or even any family dynamics. Someone's family is one of the most important things to them. So to ask questions that pries into things that get that sensitive that soon is a violation, right? And if anything, that person's going to wall off and close off from you sooner because they're going to feel like, oh, this is a person that pries into or crosses boundaries or goes in for things that they haven't worked the right up to have the trust of that information yet. Sixth, never ask questions about your date's physical appearance or their weight, right? I feel like I shouldn't even have to tell you guys this, but some people don't know, right? You never want to go in asking your partner, hey, how much do you weigh? Or have you ever gotten any work done on you? Or, why do you dress like that? Things that for someone that doesn't know you well enough yet, because understand this, our brains are pre-wired for the negative and look out for things that are potentially harmful for us, right? So until someone gets to know you well enough, they might like you and they're attracted to you and want to go on a date with you, but until they know enough to trust you, they may assume comments like that only have a negative seed of intent, right? That they only have a hurtful meaning behind them, or it kind of indicates that you think there's something wrong with them and you're asking about it. Number 7 is you always steer away from religious or political belief conversations on a first date, at least, right? That's one of the most non-sexy things you can talk about, right? And you definitely stay away from these for the same reasons why you stay away from controversial topics, because religion and politics are about as controversial as it gets, right? And they get very emotionally and energetically charged. So until you understand this person well enough to know their values and their principles well enough just yet, you don't want to ask things or questions that are going to stir up a really in-depth conversation that starts getting away from what you're here for, which is the foundational connections of a romance, right? And seeing if there's something there in that. You can get into all the religious and the, political debate of stuff later, right? You can do it till your cows come home. But right now, this is about creating harmony, seeing if there is a chemistry and harmony with your personality sets, right? Just your general characteristics and your general beliefs around things of every day and learning each other's interests and so forth. Not necessarily getting into deep dive combos about really substance beliefs. And number 8, guys, do not ask a person you're on the first date with if they see themselves getting married and having kids. Or that grand old question, where could you see this going with us? Right? They don't know. They're just trying to figure out whether they even like you, right? Do they even see wanting to go on a second date with you? Do they even see you in like the next month of their future, right? So to ask questions like that, when you throw them out there, you may think it's being harmless and your intentions may be harmless, right? You just might be wanting to get an idea of, hey, what are you kind of, looking for in that realm and so forth. But when you take it to something that has such serious weight behind it, right? Especially this is something that's big for, men when they're hearing this, because as men, we take on like the responsibility of having to be the champion for you, right? And wanting to show up and be the safe haven for the home and the family. So when we hear things like that, it's serious business, right? And it can create a space of anxiety, right? It can do the other way around too for women, for a guy asking that to a woman too. But the main point, you're just figuring out if you guys even like each other and if there's something that can be there and see how that progresses. The questions about kids and marriage and all that stuff and where things could go, let's let things develop a little bit more to where they earn the right for you to ask a question like that, right? Make them earn that. Right now, you're just evaluating, do you like being in their space, right? You don't need to know those kind of lifelong things just off of that. Remember, the first date is about enjoying it just as much as it is about seeing this person as a person for you. So don't rob your joy in the experience, just trying to be so intentional and direct with getting all this information you need to know if you're not going to waste your time going on a second date, right? You don't have to do that to yourself. So don't be that chick or don't be that guy. Let's get it.